Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a lawsuit regarding local mental health services is settled after more than 30 years of litigation. Also tonight, how the makeup of the state's congressional delegation reflects Congress as a whole, and we'll hear how the end of extended jobless benefits is impacting Arizonans. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A settlement was announced today in a 3 decades-old lawsuit to provide treatment and services for the seriously mentally ill in Maricopa County. Charles Chick Arnold filed the suit back in 1981, and he joins us now to talk about the settlement. It's good to see you again. We've had you on the show so many times to talk about this. We may not have to have you on again. It's over, isn't it?
I think that's great news, Ted. This is a good day for people in Arizona.
What happened today?
Well, today it was announced that the Arnold versus Sarn case has been resolved through a settlement reached through the negotiations of the plaintiff's attorneys, the Center for Law and the Public Interest, and the governor's team. It resulted in a significant agreement that will provide community-based accessible services to people in Arizona.
Indeed. What does the settlement cover, and how many will be covered?
Well, it deals with what are the hot issues. It's impossible, for example, for someone with a mental illness to recover in the absence of stable housing. So one of the critical components of the settlement agreement is an emphasis on supported housing. There'll be an additional 1,500 slots available for people in Maricopa County with respect to supported housing. Supported employment is another component, another leg of this settlement. Enhanced crisis services and enhanced peer support opportunities. So all in all, on this date, the anniversary of the Tucson shooting, the synchronicity of announcing this positive step toward addressing the mental health needs of Arizonans.
Are we talking Maricopa County residents only?
The case deals specifically with Maricopa County, and so the numbers inherent in this settlement agreement are Maricopa County specific. The principles of the case, however, have been embraced throughout the state and will be enacted throughout the state.
We've had you on, as I mentioned, so many times to talk about this, but again, give us a brief history lesson of what's going on here.
Well, in 1981, as the public guardian, based upon a statute passed by our legislature, I participated in the filing of this class action lawsuit. 1989, the Supreme Court affirmed the lower court decision, indicating that the state was failing in its mandatory duty to meet the needs of the mentally ill in Arizona. Over the years, there were various iterations of agreements that addressed what the crises were at the time. Finally, we're able to make a global settlement, again, with a commitment from the governor and her team to enact and actualize the vision of the statute.
I can understand the problems from 81 to 89. I can understand the reluctance of the legislature and those sorts of things happening out there. But when the court order in 1991 occurred, why did it take so long to get something done?
Well, it's always been a question of accessibility and funding. What's changed is a few important critical factors. One is the restoration of Medicaid in Arizona, which will increase the universe of people who qualify for Medicaid services. Secondly, the Affordable Health Care Act will make it possible for people who are not covered by Medicaid to get additional coverage. And thirdly, and equally as important, is Arizona having embraced the notion of integrated care, of not making a distinction between what's perceived as mental health care as distinguished from primary care. It's all health care.
What prompted that change, do you think?
Development of smart thinkers. We have experts in our community who have recognized the decreased lifespan of people with mental illness. The reason isn't necessarily directly attributed to their mental health issues, but rather physical issues that go unaddressed. And so the notion of integrating that care is a critical component to a successful attempt at recovery.
And leading to today's decision announcement of a settlement. A couple of years ago now, we had a little bit of we had you on a couple of years to talk about this framework that seems to have led to today.
Well, that's precisely right, but I have to emphasize what made it possible was the restoration of Medicaid.
Yes.
Because that shifted costs to the federal government that otherwise would have had to have been sustained by our state government, and that was the tension that I would suggest was getting in the way of this resolution over the years.
Are the seriously mentally ill better off today than they were yesterday, last week, last year?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of reason for optimism within our state, not just for people with mental illness, but for all the citizens of Arizona.
What about care providers?
Same.
Challenges? Will they see challenges now?
Absolutely. The challenges, the settlement agreement provides for objectifying the standards for appropriate activities on behalf of the providers. An important part of this settlement is embracing the standards of SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, which has defined the state-of-the-art best practices. And this settlement agreement brings to Arizona those best practices.
Personal question. Did you achieve what you and the gentleman we've talked about in the past, John Goss, who was the guy behind this, really the guy that kind of moved you into this lawsuit, a gentleman out there looking for services. Did you achieve what you and Mr. Goss were looking for all those years ago?
Gosh, Ted, it would be presumptuous of me to suggest that I've achieved anything. This is a statute that was passed by our legislature in the late 70s. This lawsuit simply affirmed the requirement to comply with the statute as passed by our legislators. Did we accomplish something by affirming that? Absolutely. But the hard work, the heavy lifting, was done by the attorneys at the Center for Law and the Public Interest and the governor's team that was committed, again, to actualizing the vision of this statute.
Back to 1981, could you have believed back in 81 that this would have taken so long to find resolution?
Oh my gosh, I don't think any of us would have anticipated that kind of time frame.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So, what do you do now? I mean, is this fight over? I mean, the court still has to agree to terms, correct?
Well, indeed, and there are future requirements that the court will still be available to address. Should there be a step backwards, should things not work as anticipated in the settlement agreement, this court, this case will be available, will remain open to provide a forum to seek relief. I don't anticipate that. I think we're going in the right direction.
Well, it sounds like the right direction was started way back in 1981. Was this a surprise to you?
The settlement?
Today, yeah. Did it happen today?
No, it's been cooking for some time, and once again, with the governor's commitment to do what she believes to be the right thing for people with mental illness, this was bound to happen.
Well, it's good to have you here. We'll find a way to get you back on the show, but it may not be about the lawsuit anymore.
Fair enough.
All right. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Ted.
The Arizona Republic spent the past year looking at how Arizona's congressional delegation mirrors Congress as a whole, as evident in the state's Tea Party Republicans, establishment members, and moderates in swing districts. The series was put together by reporter Rebecca Sanders, who joins us now. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. This was quite the effort here. A House divided. What was the focus?
Well, we knew that 2013 was going to be an important year because it was a lot of members in our state delegation to the U.S. House of Representatives that were new or hadn't been elected for very long. And also, our delegation grew from 8 members to 9 because of our population growth. So we just wanted to really keep track of who are these people representing Arizona, where do they fall along the ideological spectrum, and how do they respond to the battles in Congress that we know go on all the time?
Let's talk about how they do fall along that spectrum and how they did respond to the battles.
We've got, interestingly, a very wide breadth of political positions among our members. We've got folks on the far left, like Raul Grijalva from Tucson. We've got folks in the middle, 3 moderate members, and then folks on the far right as well. So it's interesting, Arizona is not just purely the red state that some folks think we are, but we've got people on all sides.
Did you find that, and we hear a lot out of Washington, that compromise has become a dirty word, if you will. Is that sense with our delegation as well?
Well, what we did see is that there's a big struggle in Congress to have people get beyond fighting for their principles and what they want and deciding to give a little, take a little. What's interesting is the middle ground in Congress has really shrunk dramatically. I mean, obviously there's always been differences of opinion and political fights in Washington, but it's even more pronounced now. According to some voting records, you could see the moderate number of members in Congress shrinking from 344 3 decades ago to 13.
Yeah, I think we have a chart or something along those lines that just shows how the middle ground is almost, that's actually the laws passed by Congress. Go to the other chart if you can, which shows the middle ground. There you go.
Just
Good.
really shrinking dramatically.
My goodness. And
So you wonder why they can't get along.
Yeah, is this mostly, and we hear about this, is this mostly because of the primary system?
That's part of it. Definitely the primary elections are of more and more importance. So members are worried more about getting challenges from people of their own party and having to be farther to the left or farther to the right than their opponents. Redistricting has played a part in that. Voters also just are moving into neighborhoods that are more like-minded, and so we ourselves are in some part to blame.
I noticed in the stories as well, there was one section where you talked about the difference between being a steward and a delegate. Talk to us about that.
Right, these are two philosophies of how members of Congress see themselves as representatives. Are you elected to make the right decision for the country as a whole, and that might mean giving a little bit on your principles? Or are you there to really represent to a T exactly what your constituents believe and want you to stand for? You could say that our more conservative, Tea Party-backed parts of the delegation, Paul Gosar, David Schweikert, Matt Salmon, even to an extent Trent Franks, are more in that model of, I'm my district representative, and so I have to be as pure ideologically as I can.
As far as the Tea Party, how influential in the Arizona, I mean, Schweikert, Gosar, I mean, are these folks, I mean, are they banner-carrying Tea Party members?
Well, to an extent, I think definitely a lot of the principles of shrinking government, you know, cutting spending, those are really important to these members, also to their constituents. And it's a lot of what the battles in Washington are about, is how much are we going to spend, how much debt are we going to carry? And there are very different views on that.
I noticed it's Sinema, Barber, Kirkpatrick were considered moderates in your story. Are they true moderates, or are they, I hate this, are they opportunists? Because they've got to run that moderate path in those swing districts.
Right, this is a really good question. They're all 3 Democrats in districts that are pretty evenly divided between Republican and Democratic voters and independents as well. And so they can't hew the party line 100% of the time, even though sometimes they may want to, although sometimes, you know, they say they're trying to chart the middle path. It's good for their reelection to vote with Republicans sometimes. They say it's also about making the reasonable choices, but sometimes it can get a little confusing. For instance, on affordable health care votes, when these Democrats support the law as a whole and say, but we'd like to make some of these GOP-backed changes.
Yeah, that's interesting because, and then if you don't like something, you'll vote one way or the other, and you can't even figure out if they're for it or against it by the way they are voting. As far as the senior members, Grijalva, Franks, those two, I mean, you'd think the senior members, and I think you wrote about this, there's a legacy here, they know how Congress works, yet those two, they were about as partisan as it gets, aren't they?
That's right. So there's this question, if you're in Congress a long time, do you become more entrenched and more polarized, or do you see that you have to grease the wheels to get things done and you have to negotiate? It really depends more, I think, on the temperament of that member. Ed Pastor, our dean of the delegation, been in Congress more than 2 decades, he has charted a little bit more of the middle road in terms of, for instance, he voted for the bipartisan budget deal this December, which he didn't like some of the cuts in it, but he felt like, you know, we need a deal just to have some stability here, and he went for it. Grijalva and Franks opposed it.
Yes, indeed. Before we let you go, anything surprise you in doing the research for this?
Yeah, you know, I just think that it was great to see these members up close and personal. You'll see in the stories, which you can read, it's at azcongress.azcentral.com, just all those meetings and town halls I went to with these members, and they've got really interesting personalities that come out.
So that was interesting. And as far as readership and folks that go online and take a look at this, what do we take from this?
Well, I think that readers have been responding in terms of feeling appreciative that they know the delegation well now, and they understand that Arizona is a really interesting microcosm of our nation's politics as a whole right now. I think that helps people understand why aren't they getting along? Well, because of the different opinions and the different motivations politically that these members have.
All right, very good. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Recent round of federal emergency unemployment compensation was instituted to help those who'd lost their jobs during the recession, but those benefits have now been terminated, impacting thousands of Arizona families. David Wells is the research director of the Grand Canyon Institute, a private nonprofit corporation that provides nonpartisan research. Wells has analyzed the impact of losing those extended jobless benefits. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Give me a definition. What is emergency unemployment compensation?
Well, the state provides 26 weeks of unemployment, and you only get unemployment compensation if you've lost your job through no fault of your own. But after 26 weeks, you're cut off. And what happens during major unemployment crises is the federal government comes in and extends those benefits. And at one point, they were extended as much as a total of 99 weeks. And right now, there was a 37 additional weeks, so 63 total that Arizona people could get until December 28th.
And again, this is averaging a couple hundred, 220, something along those?
Yeah, the average benefit, Arizona has pretty low benefits,
yes.
But it's about $220 a week is the average weekly benefit. $240 is the maximum anybody can get.
And again, who qualifies, who doesn't qualify?
Yeah, you have to have lost a job through no fault of your own because you can't just quit.
Yes.
And then you're able to get the benefits.
And why did these benefits terminate?
Well, Congress only authorized them through December 28th, and then they had not reauthorized them before they went into recess.
And that reason being?
Well, I mean, I think generally they had a budget agreement that they came up with, and you know, I think the Democrats, of course, wanted this as part of the budget agreement, but the Republicans want it paid for. They don't want to provide any kind of benefit without some kind of budgetary pay for, and so they didn't come to an agreement on that, and they didn't have much time to get something done before the holidays, and so that it unfortunately terminated.
I think there's an ideological aspect as well, in that some folks look at benefits as being discouraging to those who are looking for work.
Right, unfortunately, but the economic research actually shows that's a very, very small impact. There's a very small portion of people who will be on unemployment longer, and actually what it helps a lot of people do is stay in the labor force. It keeps them going, otherwise before they give up.
Talk to us. It's kind of a curious impact on the jobless rate here, isn't it?
Well, it's more than curious. It's actually tragic, I think, because one of the things that I discovered here was that we've actually lost 150,000 people since 2008 from our labor force, and it's 130,000 people since January of 2010 when our unemployment rate was 10.8%. That means those people have given up looking for work for the most part.
Indeed, I guess I used the word curious because all of a sudden the jobless rate goes down and there's hosannas everywhere. Not necessarily. That just means a lot of folks have left.
Yeah, I mean, so there are good ways for it to go down and there are bad ways.
Yeah.
And in Arizona, it's a bad way.
The impact on Arizona, these lost benefits, what did you find?
Well, the impact is going to impact about 12,100 families immediately, and then over the course of 2014, we expect about 22,000 families will be impacted during the first half of this year, and if it's not extended, another 20,000 will be impacted at the second part. And the total economic cost of that will be about $174 million, which could cause 1,600 people to lose their jobs.
So you're basically saying because these folks don't have the money in the system, folks who could use the money in the system, by way of those folks, they could lose their jobs.
Yeah, because if they don't have money to spend, I mean, they'll probably, you know, take out a second mortgage, they'll sell a car. I mean, they'll do a lot of desperate kind of things, but that's really going to hurt them in the long run. And if they don't spend the money, then other jobs aren't supported.
I noticed your report had some recommendations in here, one of those being phase out the benefits as opposed to ending them all at once. Talk to us about that.
Right, well, Congress has already started to do that. And I said at one time you could get 99 weeks of unemployment benefits, and you can't do that anymore. And the idea is, as the economy is recovering, states have to qualify for added benefits. And our current rate is just below 8%. And if we stay below 8%, you know, maybe we shouldn't be getting 37 extra weeks of benefits, but maybe 28 extra weeks of benefits. The idea is, as the economy improves, that we don't need these extra benefits. And some states are below 6% unemployment. They probably don't need extra added benefits.
The improving of job training and job placement was also mentioned in the recommendations.
Yeah, because I think we're losing out a lot of economic growth in Arizona. It's not only a tragedy for these families, it's a tragedy for the state because we're not getting the economic growth that we could get. So we identified two things that our state legislature could do, and one of them had to do with helping with job training and so forth, because you've got a lot of people who are going to have a hard time getting back into the labor force. They're psychologically beaten down, and they really need either career coaching or they need some kind of placement services, and there's ways in which the state could be quite entrepreneurial by providing some kind of a competitive kind of grant where we're expecting you to perform for these, but you really need to work with these folks, and we'll provide subsidies for you to help get them placed back in the labor market.
I noticed as well you also had mentioned a focus on women maintaining families.
Yes, one of the stunning things that we found was in 2012, the unemployment rate for women who maintained families was 12.7%. So while the overall rate's going down, their rate's going way up. And the reason I think as part of it is the state has cut its subsidies for low-income working families' child care. They removed $80 million from the budget during the budget crisis, and they haven't put it back in. And the consequence for that has meant that 10,000 less families are being served. They only have federal funds to pay for the program. And these are women who obviously need affordable child care in order to maintain a job.
There's some who want to see, they say, this is all fine and dandy, but I need to see some linkage with something else. Should job training be linked to benefits? Is that something that could be considered?
It can be considered. I mean, some people really need different things. Every worker is different what they really need. And as I say, that's why I think this kind of competitive system where they provide grants, you can provide different things to different folks. I mean, different industries have different needs. There's some good matches out there. In other cases, what the research has found is that when somebody's unemployed for more than 6 months, they get discriminated against in the labor market. These things that sort of vet out applications, when they see that, regardless of your qualifications, you could be the best person in the world, you're getting thrown thrown out because you've been unemployed for 6 months. So somehow getting those people placed temporarily where an employer can try them out can be quite helpful. So there's a lot of different needs out there, but we need to do something about it. We can't expect people who have gone through the rigors of unemployment, because it's really hard on people, to expect them simply to always bounce back.
Okay, and real quickly, as far as public policy issues are concerned, what do we take from this?
Well, I would hope that Congress is going to make this an urgent priority. We already saw it yesterday pass a procedural hurdle in the Senate, and they've got to work together, because even if they do this retroactively in Congress, these people need the money now, and it's really important. And at the state level, I mean, jobs is a critical thing here. We passed a jobs bill in 2011, but not one that really focused in on the people who are unemployed.
All right, we got to stop you right there, Dave.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you. When you want to be more informed, 8 delivers news and analysis with multiple perspectives, thanks to financial support from you and
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602. Nice and Easy Travel presents Regent Seven Seas Cruises, featuring the all-inclusive Regent experience, offering luxury cruising packages around the world. Information at niceandeasytravel.com or 480-610-2951.
later on 8HD.
How does a horse bred for war star in this ballet? The answer lies in this creature, the Lipizzaner stallion, and in a tradition at Vienna's Spanish riding school that has been passed down for centuries.
Tonight at 7 on 8HD. 8HD. 8 Life. And 8 World. This is Arizona PBS, supported by viewers like you. Thank you. Coming soon to 8HD.
Oh my.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at Downton. It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
I don't care how you faked it. I want to know why.
The one person he thought didn't matter at all to me was the one person that mattered the most. I think I'll surprise John. Go up to Baker Street, who knows, jump out of a cake.
Baker Street? He isn't there anymore. It's been 2 years. He's got on with his life.
What life? I've been away.